Gupta, and I am here to take a session on tendering. So first of all, I hope that you guys and your families are safe in this current second, third wave of COVID which we are experiencing. I hope you all are safe, and we shall begin now. So this session is basically this session will give you. First of all, I will ask everyone to mute themselves, please. So my voice will be quite clear then. And if any time there is this issue in visibility of my screen, you are unable to view my presentation or my voice, then you can unmute and say in the middle. Else, I would request everyone to just keep it in the mute until the end when we'll do the doubt clearing session. Okay, so today we'll discuss only the basics of tendering and bidding procedure and contracting. First, I will give you a small brief of myself. I have worked as deputy manager project planning in Shapoorji Pallonji and Company for 3.5 years. My daily areas of expertise used to be project scheduling, tracking, delays, etc. Managing the complete site that includes material and site logistics management, site costing, preparation of budget and preparation of cost to complete for the project, formwork planning and various other reports like DPR, etc. I've also worked in risk management and I use various softwares, Excel, MSP, Primavera, etc. So now let's start with tendering. Basically, the term tendering has been derived from the word tender. Tender actually just means an offer sent by one party to another. For example, see, in case of construction, it means an offer made by a contractor to you. You here is a client actually, you or me, I am a client, and an offer made by a contractor to do a specified work in return of a particular amount of money. For example, if I am a client, example, I have 1,000 square feet plot. I want to construct a 3-floor house there. Suppose I have a joint family, I want to construct a 3 to 4 floor house, or I am a builder, I want to build a building, and I'm going to sell those flats. Whatever may be the situation, I am the client. So first of all, I will have to decide whether I want to subcontract these things with material, that is complete. I want to subcontract to a single person with material, or I want to subcontract these items on labor basis. For example, there will be one RCC contractor, subcontractor, then there will be an electrical subcontractor, there will be a plumbing subcontractor, a waterproofing subcontractor, a painter, and a subcontractor for steel and aluminum works for windows, and then finally for doors and false ceiling. Then finally my project will be completed. So in that case, what first I will do is I will first start searching for various RCC contractors. For example, I get to know about 4 to 5 RCC contractors. I will contact them. I will give them the drawings that I have prepared with my engineer. I will share with them all the details. I will tell them that I need this project to be completed within 1 year. Everything, all the details that I have, I will share with those people. Accordingly, they will quote their rates. I will site visit their different projects. I will set an eligibility criteria in my mind that, for example, that particular contractor should have completed this kind of projects, at least 5 projects, or I will see the finishing, the quality that he offers, etc. There will be 1,000 things that I will monitor. And then after that, I will select one contractor out of them. I will award the contract. I will prepare his work order. We both will sign that order, and then finally the work will begin. This complete procedure is called tendering. When it comes to big projects, which, for example, government projects or bid private projects for private clients whose cost is 1,000 crores, 500 crores, then this process becomes quite typical. This complete documentary procedure is called tendering, which includes inviting bids for, it may be appointing experts, it may be for appointing contractors. Yeah, I would again request everyone to just please keep on mute because it is disrupting the flow of the lecture. Yeah. So this complete documentary procedure is called tendering, and the offer made by the contractor is called tender. Now, what are the components of this complete tendering process? I will just tell you the name of this right now, and I will further uh, explain these items item by item in the forthcoming slides. And also at the end, I have 2-3 case studies with me which I'll discuss with you guys. So everything will be clear. Right now, I'm just taking the names of these items. So first is invitation for bid. That is also called as notice inviting tender. Then this notice inviting tender contains various bid documents. These bid documents are instructions to bidders, then contractor's bids itself, then letter of acceptance by the contractor, letter to proceed with the work, agreement form. There are various general conditions of the contract, special conditions of the contract, and complete contractual data, how the work has to be performed. Then I also have to provide specifications. For example, I have finalized that yes, the plot area is 1,000 square feet. I have finalized how many floors I have to construct. I also have to tell him that I require the construction to be done in particular XYZ cement, say Ultratech. Steel, I want to be this particular XYZ Tata Steel brand. So I have to tell him all the list of approved makes, that these materials I require you to use. Accordingly, that guy will quote his rates. Also, electrical works, plumbing works, whatever specification I am ready with, I'll have to share all these specifications with those people before they'll quote their tender or tell me their rates. I'll also give them list of drawings, BOQ, etc. Everything complete. Now we'll go step by step. First was the invitation to bid. The first requirement in a bidding process is to invite suppliers or contractors to bid. See, if I am the government or if I am a big private client who has a 100, 200, 500 crore project, then the first thing what we do is we prepare notice inviting tender. How will people come to know that yes, I have to start this project? So what we do is we prepare a format. There is a small format for the same. I'll show you guys. We use that. We give advertisement in newspapers. We give advertisement in publications or journals. For example, there are various construction magazines. Then if example, that is a very big project. Here you can see in international competitive bidding, bringing the invitations to the notice of embassies of foreign countries. For example, it is a really very big project. For example, Adani is currently doing a 40,000 crore project in Australia for gas pipeline. How Adani came to know about that project? In such big projects, the notice inviting tender by Australian government has been sent to all the embassies of different countries, and big contractors of various respective countries has bidded for that project. And finally, Adani Energy or Adani Power, whatever, Adani has finally won that project, and they are currently executing that same project in a different country. That is a very international contract, a very typical contract to learn. Then letters to firms who have come to know of the likely purchase and have made inquiries. Okay, see, in case of this is invitation to bid. What I told you is in case of works, if we want subcontractors. But for example, I want a machinery, I want suppliers. I don't want subcontractors to execute a work. I want suppliers for a particular machine that I want. In that case, all the big firms have their own software. For example, L&T, Shapoorji, Tata, they have their ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, or SAP. Some are still on ERP, some are working on SAP. What we do on SAP is various vendors are registered on SAP. We float an inquiry on SAP that this particular XYZ site requires 1,000 bags of cement. Make Ultratech. Then 4 or 5 dealers of Ultratech will quote. Someone will quote 340 rupees per bag. Someone will quote 345 rupees per bag. We'll finally select that person whose delivery time is less and who is the lowest bidder. Though that is for purchase orders. And this, what I'm telling you right now, is for subcontracting work. The invitation of bidders is a very brief notice. It gives only the essentials of the purchase / works that are to be carried out. It also states the nature of goods services required, the place from where bidding documents may be purchased, and the price of bidding documents. Generally, it is 1,000 to 500 to 1,500 rupees, something like that. Last date for submitting bids and the amount of bid security that you will have to. I'll tell you later this, guys. There are two very important terms: earnest money deposit and bid security. Many people are confused in those terms. I'll explain you guys in this lecture itself. This is a typical format of notice inviting tender. The name of the organization is mentioned, the date is mentioned, the brief about important details about the project is clearly mentioned here. For example, executive engineer on behalf of -- organization invites item rate / lump sum tenders from approved and eligible contractors for following works. Last date and time of submission is this particular date. Always the last date of submission is mentioned, timeline is mentioned, name of the work is mentioned, estimated cost is mentioned, earnest money that you have to deposit is mentioned, time is always mentioned that this project has to be completed in 1 year, 6 months, 1.5 year, XYZ, that has to be mentioned. Accordingly, a contractor will align resources, align machinery, and the cost will be derived from the same. So uh, timeline is the most important part in any notice inviting tender. That's what I feel. So last date and time for receipt of applications, last date and time for issue of these tender documents, and earnest money should be deposited along with applications issue of tender document. Now I'll tell you the difference between the two most important things: earnest money deposit and bid security. See, what an earnest money deposit is to ensure, please listen to me very carefully, to ensure that a bidder does not submit a dummy bid or back out at the time of tender opening. Department collects a small refundable fee from each bidder, which is called earnest money deposit. It is in the form of demand draft. So what happens is, for example, I am client, gave an ad in the newspaper, I did all the R&D, all the work for 1.5 months, and finally I awarded the contract to a company which has just bidded for the namesake. They don't want to execute the work, they are forfeiting the job. In that case, all this 1.5 month procedure, advertisement in the newspaper, everything will have to be, I will have to do it again. So for that, we keep a small earnest money deposit from all the uh, all the bidders or contractors, so that that money for the other contractors to which the tender has not been awarded, their money has is easily refunded to them. But the person who uh, does not the contract was awarded to the XYZ company and now they are refusing to do the job, in in that case, this money I will not refund to them, and I'll use this money for again for these expenses, for advertisement, again for tendering process, everything. I'll again use this money. This is called earnest money deposit. But what is bid security? Bid security is, once it is decided that a tender is awarded to a particular bidder, he has to deposit a security deposit with the buyers, such that if does not complete the task as per the work order, the buyer can recover the loss by forfeiting his security deposit. Okay, see, this earnest money deposit we pay when we fill the notice inviting tender, and we fill our tender, we pay this. But when the tender is awarded to a XYZ company before signing the contract, that time they pay the bid security. The first difference between both of them is earnest money deposit, EMD, is just 1 to 2% of the total contract value. But the security deposit is 8 to 10% of the total contract value. And security deposit is used for, if I have awarded you the work, you have also started the project, but you are deteriorating the quality of the project, you are not appointing laborers as per my requirement. I had asked you to complete the project in, for example, 6 months, but it has been 7.5 months. Till now, your project is not even 80% completed. In that case, this money, bid security money, as a client, I can use to charge penalty on you for legal actions, or for appointing other contractor, or to completing the work myself, or for rectification in the work that because you have done reduce the quality. For all that, we use this bid security, that is 8 to 10%, and earnest money deposit is 1 to 2%. I hope all these things are clear. If not, at the end, I'll again explain it to you. See, this is another example of notice inviting tender. It is for the Embassy of Nepal. It has been published in New Delhi. This is this number, notice inviting tender number. Name of the work: construction of peripheral pedestrian pathway around boundary wall of the Embassy of Nepal and providing an installation of outdoor gym equipment. Estimated cost is 15 lakhs. That is inclusive of GST. Earnest money is 50,000. That is 2%, I think so, of the estimated cost. Cost of tender document, this is always non-refundable. To purchase that document is 650 rupees. Time of completion for the project is 45 days. Last date and time of submission of bid is mentioned here. Date and time of opening of technical as well as financial bid, both the bids are mentioned here. So this was an example of notice inviting tender. There are also few notice inviting tenders NITs which are more in detail, like this one. This is the second example. This is a detailed tender notice. The one which I had shown you guys before, that was a very brief one. This is a detailed notice inviting tender. Name of the work: new construction of primary healthcare center building. Online percentage rate for tenders, this is mentioned. New construction of primary health center building and staff quarters. Estimated cost is also mentioned. Estimated cost of the project is mentioned here. Earnest money, that is C. You can clearly see it is 1% of the construction cost is mentioned here. Security deposit, this is I think so 7 to 8%, 23 lakhs has been mentioned here. Class of contractor, second and above. See, these are the distributions by the government. Class of the contractors: A class contractor, B class contractor, C class, like that. PWD, everyone have their different categories. Time limit for the tender, this is always mentioned, 12 months. This also includes monsoon. These are the very important things you have to look into when you are bidding for a tender. If you are filling a tender from your firm, or you are itself a small contractor who does small jobs or big jobs, everything you have to see in detail. These 12 months which they have told you is including monsoon season. No price escalation will be given in this 1 year. Currently, if you are buying cement at 340 rupees per bag, and after lockdown due to COVID, which I am going through currently, I am buying cement at my site at 365 rupees per bag, same bag of Ultratech, 15 days. So in this, clearly government has written no price escalation will be given. In 1 year, whatever you buy cement, whatever rate you buy steel, or labor rate increases, or there is a war in the country, government will not give you any escalation for that. You will have to complete the work in this said amount itself. Fine. So all these things you have to keep in mind. The complete bidding process will be online. E-tendering, fine. This is the website. Yes, time is been mentioned. Deadline for submission, last date of bid submission has been mentioned. Bids must be accompanied with online payment of RTGS NIFT certificate in the name of this. This is the payment for earnest money deposit. Condition of payment of additional security deposit, 10%. I told you it's always 8 to 10% security deposit. It has been mentioned here. Then security deposit, how does this security 10% you have to pay? That breakup is has been mentioned here. Then bid shall be treated as invalid if scanned copy of RTGS NIFT certificate are not submitted. No matter you have paid, but you have not shown the certificate together with the bid, your bid will be considered invalid. This is the timeline when the bid will be opened in front of everyone. For other guidelines, this is the Maharashtra tenders website. No pages should be removed from or added in and replaced in the tender. That means you cannot change the format of the tender. They have provided you with the format. You have to fill the tender in that particular format itself. Tenders which do not fulfill any of the condition or incomplete are liable to summary rejection. Right to reject hands with the client. Client can reject on any ground on any tender which the client it pleases. This notice inviting tender shall form part of the tender agreement itself. The successful tenderer will be required to produce to the satisfaction of the specified concerned authority a valid and concurrent license issued in this favor under the provision. 5, you have to show your contractor license. Right to reject or cancel any tender without assigning any reason thereof, whatever may be, is reserved by the undersigned. If I am the executive engineer in charge of that particular authority, NHI or whatever, I reserve the right to reject any tender on the grounds that I please. I do not have to give explanation to you. Price escalation will not be given. That is a very important point. So they have mentioned it again. So these were the two examples of notice inviting tender. This was also a small format, which kind of ads we see in paper. These is the generally kinds of notice inviting tenders. Okay, so now after notice inviting tender, the second most important part of the bid of the bid that you receive are instruction to the bidders. There are particular set of instructions for the bidders. For example, I'll just read out the names right now and I'll explain you in detail in the next slide. First is scope of tender. Second is eligibility of the contractor. See, for big project or small project, there are always few eligibility criterias. I do not want those people to bid for my project who are incapable of doing it. So there are always eligibility criterias. How many site visits you have to carry out? What are the of all the clarification detailing of the tender document, language of the tender, documents in the tender, currencies and payment, how I am going to pay you, tender security and validity, signature of the tender, sealing of the tender, last date of tender submission, tender opening and evaluation, comparison of tenders, award criteria and employees' right to accept or reject advance payment and security. Now instruction to the bidders. First is scope of the bid. It defines all the details, all the specifications, drawings, contract completion date required, everything, all the detailing comes under scope of the bid, which I have already told you guys previously. Then sources of funds. It also mentions the detail of agencies funding the project. For example, I am a private builder, I am taking money from bank and financing these projects, then these details have to be mentioned in the bid. Other instruction to bidders is one bid per bidder. See, this is a very important thing. Tata, SPCL, L&T, XYZ, ABC contractor, all the companies can only send one bid per bidder. As a company, you cannot bid twice. For example, for the same project, SPCL cannot bid and FCons cannot bid because they both are part of the same firm. Shapoorji Pallonji and FCons, they both cannot bid for the same project. That is called one bid per bidder policy. Then bidder site visit, it has contains instructions that how you can carry out site visit, soil investigation, when you can go, whom you can contact if you want to go to the site to check the actual condition of the site. Everything is mentioned in the notice inviting tender. Then what are the bidding documents? These documents help in obtaining uniformity of knowledge as both the parties have the same set of information. I as a client have also this information and all the other contractors and the parties who have bidded have the same information. So and also in the same format. Some buyers clarify in their instructions to bidders that names of all the documents which are part of the bidding documents. Find this further. It further helps both the buyers and sellers to know how all that which is included in the bidding documents affect their rights and obligations. What are the legal obligations they have to perform? All the things are they mentioned in this bidding documents. These state all the supplier has to know about the bidding procedure. Everything is mentioned in these documents. Now, language of the bid. See, it is not that important in national contracts. For example, if we are applying for an NHAI contract, we know that all the bids, everything will be in English. So that is the language of the bid. But in case of international contracts, for example, the example which I took before, that Adani got the project in Australia for piping, which was worth 40,000 CR. In such big projects, there were hundreds of contractors of different countries who has bidded for the project. So in such international projects, language of the bid is very important. It one language the tender will be floated, in what language you have to apply all this, because as per language, the legalities of the tender also changes. Now the bid form and price schedule. See, with the complete tender document, the one most important thing is bid form and price schedule. A buyer likely to lays down the format of the bids. Everything format has been prepared by the client, or here the examples which we are taking is the government. All the formats are prepared by them. They send you the formats. You have to just fill in the rates in those particular formats. You don't have to edit the format. You don't have to edit that price schedule. You just have to fill your rates and you have to send them back. What happens is a common format makes bid comparison easier for the client. To compare 100 different bids, it's easy if it is done in a common format. It also helps to avoid any different terms being used by different bidders. I may call that particular item something else, you may call in your language that particular item something else. So it avoids confusion if there are a simple same format. For an employer, for an employer or for the client, it is the total cost that matters. For example, if I had asked you the concreting rates, I have no clue that you have entered just the material rates or material plus labor rates, or you have also included the taxes in it, that I have to pay GST, everything has been added or not. So if a common format, all these confusions are cleared up. A buyer knows that how much tax he has to pay, how much transportation charges he has to pay, what is the material cost, what is the labor cost. Everything is easy for both the parties. So there is always all these documents are in a single format. Now, bidders qualifications. These are always attached with the bid document, and it is the most important part. A buyer has to assure himself or herself about the competence of a bidder to fulfill his obligations. How will I be satisfied that you as a contractor are competent? I will set down various criteria. For example, he has to have executed at least 5 projects of that particular capacity. How is the monetary capacity of the contractor? How much machinery he owns? How many laborers he had? How many running sites he has? What is his monthly turnover? All these things, like what are his technical capabilities? Whether he has engineers, supervisors, or he just works with the laborers without any supervisors, and he himself supervises the job. How many tower cranes that his company owns? There are thousands of things that I need to know of that particular person's qualifications. Receiving or accepting bids from incompetent bidders may only result in waste of time, effort, and money. All those people who are raising hands, I'll clear all your doubts in the last 10 minutes of the session. So don't worry about it. I'll just continue with the part, and I'll clear your doubts at the end. May only result in waste of time, effort, and money. A buyer informs potential bidders about the evidence required to support their claim of competence. The competence of bidders falls in 3 categories. First is financial competence. A financially weak firm may not be able to fulfill a large order that it receives. Very true. Second is technical competence. A firm without technical competence would have difficulty in producing goods that meet the desired specifications. And production capabilities. A firm devoid of adequate production capabilities may fail to supply goods on time. So these are the various qualifications that we judge as a client of the particular bidders. Then comes the bid security. I've already told you guys previously. I've explained it in detail, the difference between earnest money deposit and bid security. A buyer does not wish to receive bids from firms who have no intention of doing it, may make a bid with the idea of seeing the market trend. It may refuse to accept the contract, and therefore buyers insist on a suitable amount from bidders as bid security. Bid security gets forfeited if a bidder refuses to honor the contract when its bids gets accepted. A very high bid security amount may discourage bidders as their money gets blocked. See, if you keep the bid security very high, then many people may be discouraged to fulfill the tender, fill the tender, because they may not be able to have that money currently, or they may feel that for 6 months, 1 year, my this month amount of money will be blocked, which I could have used in some other place. So many people, may not just bid. So you have to set a competitive bid security, not a very high bid security. Now the next most important part is bid validity period. A buyer assures suppliers about the period within which it will decide on its bid. There is always a validity. For example, 1 month, 1.5 months, your this particular rate and your this particular bid is valid. I will finalize the evaluate and finalize the contractor within this limit. That is called bid validity period. The investment can be made only for a reasonable period. Moreover, a supplier takes into account the likely increase in prices by the time a contract is awarded and goods are delivered. In an inflammatory economy, say India is an inflammatory economy, all the construction material rates have been continuously increasing since last 10 years. The risk of inflation is built into the price. If the bid validity period is not indicated, suppliers may not bid at all. The next part is signature on bids, whose signature will be valid. The engineer in charge or a minor person is not competent to enter into a valid bid or a valid contract. Many suppliers may be firms in the nature of partnerships, joint ventures, or incorporated companies. The law of partnership, joint ventures, or companies have a legal framework so as to who is competent to bind them. All the firm, for example, I run an XYZ firm, there is a protocol that my signature is valid or my engineer's signature is valid for quantity certification, my signature is valid for rate certification. All the protocols are said. These have to be entered. This I have to tell to the bidders that whose signature is valid for finance and for technical part. A buyer has to check the authority letters on basis of which bids are signed. Now, secrecy of bids. See, as a client, I have to ensure that all the bids that I will receive will be a secret with me. I will not leak leak the rates and data to other companies. If I do so, that will be called a foul practice, and that is legally wrong. I cannot do, or no party can do such things in case of construction or in any other bids. Instructions to bidders: assure of the secrecy of bids received. Opening uh, opening any bid before the deadline for opening bids violates the sanity of the bid process. The need for secrecy arises because it is essential that the bidders should not come to know the bid price of their competitors. If XYZ companies knows that I have bid 100 rupees for that project and I tell the some other firm the same rate, they may quote it in 99 and receive the tender. This is a foul practice. That's why secrecy of bids is very important as a client. Otherwise, the entire exercise of inviting bids may become a manipulated process to give it the semblance of integrity. Suppliers, when they come to know of it, may decline to bid for buyers who violate this principle. Okay, this happens in various small firms, but in government projects and bid projects, this is secrecy of bids is always followed. Now, deadline for bid submission. I have already shown you the dates in the notice inviting tender, which I had shown you previously. It is a part of instruction to bidders. The last date, the last time a buyer cannot keep the date of receiving bids uncertain. He has to tell the dates. The reason buyers refuse to take note of the late bids is that bids are opened soon after the deadline for submitting bids has been passed. Now, withdrawal. Please keep yourself on mute. I again request everyone. Yeah. Withdrawal of bids. The law of contract allows a bidder to withdraw its bid before acceptance. For example, 6 days or 5 days before the bid opening, I can still withdraw the bids. So this is mentioned in a tender, that what is the procedure for withdrawal of bids. In competitive bidding, a bidder may withdraw or modify bids before bid opening. This action does not result in loss of bid security. If a bidder withdraws his bids after the bids have been opened, then the buyer may forfeit the bid security. Is completely up to the client. You may not receive your bid security amount back. Now, the most important part: bid opening and evaluation. I, as a client or as a government, opens all the bids. That is a very detailed, actually. I'm just going into the basic of bid opening and evaluation, because that is different for different contracts. That is different envelope wise. That is a very detailed topic. It will take me 2 hours to complete bid opening and evaluation. So that we will go through in a detailed lecture that we are planning for 15 days. I'll come to that part later. I'll just give you the basic of this right now. Opening of bids: bidders or the respectives are invited to the present to be on the bid opening ceremony. At the bid opening, a buyer announces the major details of the bids, like bid price, accounts offered, etc. The public opening of bids instill confidence in the bidding process. Otherwise, some suppliers may decline to bid. Bid examination is usually done in 2 parts. First is preliminary examination, in which generally the client looks the documentary part, that all the documents are complete, they have the bid security, earnest money deposit. I again request everyone to please keep on mute. Yeah, so all the documents are correct, everything, only the paperwork is being checked in preliminary examination. Then there is the comprehensive evaluation. We evaluate all the firms on the basis of their competency. We prepare a table to show the difference in rates. We check the taxes, duties as a buyer. We check the freight transportation charges that we have to pay. We check the insurance cost of spare parts, cost of goods, everything we check. And finally, adjustments are then made into the bid prices to take care of varying cost of operation owing to the different rate of consumption of raw material, etc. We check all the variations, and finally we finalize one person on the basis of his previous performance, or on the basis of his L1 lowest bid, on all his technical capabilities. Everything we take into consideration, and finally we award the contract. Before that, if some bid is unclear, then we can also ask for clarification in that bid if something is unclear about someone's bid. That is a complete comprehensive evaluation process. Then finally the contract is awarded. The draft contract conditions are also attached with the first tender document that we downloaded from the government website. That contains all the terms and conditions of that contract. For once this contract has been accepted by the contractor and signed by both the parties, the contract is set to be finalized, and an LOI, letter of intent, is issued to the contractor, and within 15 days of that letter of intent, the contractor, 15 or 30 days, whatever is mentioned, the contractor mobilizes at site and issues LOA, letter of acceptance, and starts the work. So this was the brief that I had, 45 minutes brief that I had prepared for you. Actually, our target is we at Protrainy are organizing a 15-day lecture of 1 hour daily, that is 15 hours, which will cover the tendering, bidding, contracts, everything in detail. For that, we had organized this session for every one of you to get a glimpse of what the topics we are going to cover. So I will just tell you the topics that we will be covering in those 15 days. And after that, last 10 minutes, I will take a case studies, the documents of NHAI, which I have downloaded from the government server. I will take a brief of that. But first, I will like to show you guys the course contents, which we will be taking for 15 hours. First is tendering and bidding. So in complete tendering process, all the things which I have just explained you in short, that all these things: invitation to bid, notice inviting tender, contractors bid, bid evaluation, the most important part, bid evaluation, which has technical and financial evaluation, which I told you guys that I will explain in that part. That will be the most important first lecture of that class. Then how the contractor is finalized, what is letter of acceptance, what is letter of intent, how the contract is awarded. This complete part I will take in very much detail for everyone to understand. Today I had just given a small brief. See, these are the methods of bidding, how a bid is opened and how it is evaluated. There are 5 types: single stage, single envelope, single stage 2 envelope, 2 stage single envelope, 2 stage 2 envelope, and pre-qualification bidding. I will explain all these things in detail. Then I will go through e-tendering. What are the advantages of e-tendering, how e-tendering is done, what are the conditions of contract in e-tendering, how you can prepare your digital signature, how you can apply for e-tenders, what are the government websites, everything. And then I will take the case studies of tender for some infra projects, then tender for some big real estate projects, and also I will take case studies for small subcontracting tenders, for examples for small houses, for small works, for waterproofing jobs. After, when I am done with this tendering and bidding lecture, out of 15 days, 15 hours, 7 hours I will take on this tendering and bidding and these case studies. After these 7 hours, you will be completely prepared to create your own ID to become a contractor, or you will have enough knowledge to start your career in tendering, bidding. You will be up with these case studies. You will know which websites to visit, how the e-tendering is done, what is the methods. You will learn also the theoretical part and also the practical part in e-tendering and case studying. You will be perfect in tendering and bidding after I am done with these 7 lectures. Other 7 lectures, I will focus on this quantity estimation and contracts. So first, one lecture I will, after the 7 lectures, one lecture I will take on basics of quantity surveying, basics of estimation, rate analysis. Because if you have to fill a tender, this is just the documentation part. You should know that how you will calculate rates, how much profit you have to add, what will be the indirect cost, for example, security, electric costs, what is the escalation you have to take. Some basics of rate analysis at least you should know. To learn rate analysis in details, we will require another master class, but some basics of rate analysis and basics of budgeting and preparation of a budget I will cover in one class, so that you will be able to fill the rates and tenders in future if you want. Then some general information I will cover. What are the list of government websites, different magazines, newspapers where you can get everything. So in 7 to 8 lectures, we will be done with this tendering, bidding, rate analysis, and quantity basics of this quantity estimation and survey. Now balance 5 to 6 lectures I will take on contracts. What is a contract? What are the legal conditions of a contract? What is the legal difference between an offer, an agreement, and a contract? What are the general and specific conditions of a contract? Then 2 lectures I will take on Indian contract law. There are 75 important clauses of Indian contract law. If you do not know about those clauses, then studying tendering, bidding and contracts is completely useless for you as a contractor. So I will focus to 1 or 2 complete sessions on those 75 clauses of Indian contract law on which all our study is based. Then I will discuss all the terminologies with you. What do you mean by consideration? What are the parties involved in the contract? What is letter of intent, letter of acceptance? Who is the promisor? Who is the promisee? What do you mean by a voidable contract? What is a void contract? What do you mean by contractors all risk policy? What do you mean by erectors all risk policy? There are various terminologies in contracts which if you have no idea, you will be unable to work under the government or under any such big or even small firms. If you are taking a tender and becoming a contract, there are some there are some basic things that you should terminologies that you should know. It will help you legally. Then another most important part of the my last 2-3 sessions will be on this. What are different kind of contracts? Item rate contract, percentage rate contract, lump sum contract, EPC, turnkey and design build contract, then cost plus fixed percentage, cost plus fixed fee contract, cost plus incentive fee contract, maximum terms contract or concessions. These are the main type of prime contracts. I will discuss I will discuss all the theoretical part of these contracts. What are the advantages of which contract, disadvantages of which contract, case studies of different contracts. Then I will come to the practical aspect of these contracts, that how in big contracting firms the work is performed. For example, in L&T, the work performed in a lump sum contract will be different. The procedure for item rate contract will be different. The procedure for cost plus fixed percentage contract will be different. So I will also give you the industry insights, the practical part of all these contracts, how to carry out work in different kinds of contracts. First, I'll tell you the theoretical part, then I will come to the practical industry part of all these contracts. Then these are the small contracts that I will go through. What are purchase orders? I will give you the examples of purchase orders. I will show you various purchase orders that I have with me. Then I will show you some small subcontractor agreements. If for example, you need a painter, you need a waterproofing guy, you need small items, how those subcontractor agreements are made. I will show you the formats of those subcontractor agreements. Then some insurance contracts, security bonds, guarantees, and then standard forms of contracts in India. This is the last topic which I will take in those 15 sessions. Standard forms of contracts in India. Contracts in India are basically based on PWD guidelines, and second is on FIDIC. FIDIC is a quite modern than PWD. Then there are different conditions of contract. I will cover all that part, difference in CPWD based contract and FIDIC based contract. And then there are this FIDIC red book, FIDIC silver book, FIDIC green and orange book. These 4 books I will cover in brief. Each book concentrates on different types of contracts. This will be our complete final 15 days session that we are going to take on contracts. If you want to gain this knowledge, if you want to study contracts, tendering, bidding, estimation, and rate analysis, then you can contact Protrainy for this 15 days session. Now, last thing of today's session is the case studies that I wanted to show you guys. So I'll just switch to that part. Just wait a second. Yeah, see this is a tender which I downloaded from government website. This is the NHAI, National Highway Authority of India tender. So these are the items. This was a 200 MB file, and these were all the files which were attached in that file. So we'll go through them one by one, and you will be easily able to understand the items which I had just shown you theoretically today. This is the practical aspect. See, this is the notice inviting bid, RFP for construction of 8-lane access controlled expressway, starting from I hope you guys can see this screen. 8-lane access controlled expressway starting from MP Gujarat border near this XYZ village and ending at bridge over this place. This is the complete location. This is the name of the project. This is the national highway number. This is name of the work. Estimated cost is 1,417 crores. Completion period is 2 years and maintenance period is 10 years. 10 years you have to maintain this complete project. Bid document can be viewed, downloaded from this official website, etenders.government.in. And this is the officer in charge. This was the first document, that is notice inviting tender. Now the second document attached was RFP, request for proposal. This contains all the details which we had discussed theoretically tonight. See, this is a 100-page document, so I'll just go through it. I cannot read one by one a 100-page document right now. See, this is the type of the contract is EPC mode. See, that's why I told you what is the necessity for the 15 days lecture. If you have just seen right now the basics of tendering, the basics of bidding, but you do not know what is an EPC contract, what is a lump sum contract, how to bid for an item rate contract, the knowledge you gained today is completely useless. So that's why we are organizing a 15-day lecture. So do check it out. So the type of contract is this EPC contract. Client is National Highway Authority of India, June 2020. Background, brief description of the bidding process, schedule of the bidding process, that is formats, everything. Instruction to bidders. See, I told you there is always instruction to bidders, general instructions, eligibility criteria, qualification, proprietary data, cost of bidding, site visit, verification of information, verification, disqualification. All the points which I told you theoretically tonight are clearly mentioned here. Then the documents that are attached, preparation, how to prepare, and submission of bid. See, format is mentioned. What will happen, will the what is the bid due date, document which you require to show for technical as well as financial bid. What will happen if we bid late, procedure for e-tendering, everything in detail, rejection of bids, validity of bids, confidentiality, correspondence with the bidder, all the things which I told you tonight, procedure for e-tendering, everything has been mentioned here. Bid securing declaration form. Then how these bids will be evaluated, on which date these bids will be evaluated, what items will be considered as fraud and corrupt practices, when will be the pre-bid conference held between the parties. Then there are various miscellaneous items, letter for this, letter for XYZ, that these you guys can download from the government website and read in detail. See, first the notice inviting bid, second the disclaimer, then all these items, technical items have been described here clause wise. All these clauses, the clause numbers, everything we will cover in the Indian contract law, which I told you guys about. Then first is the introduction, complete introduction of the project. Where is the project? How much is the project cost? What is the timeline? What will be the bid process that will be followed? Then how much you have to pay for the earnest money deposit? What is the details for the demand draft? A name of the beneficiary, name of the bank, their account number, everything. What is the bid price? What is the defect liability period? What do you mean by the term lowest bidder? Everything in detail is here. Now complete schedule of bidding process, on which date what will happen. This schedule is most important. When will be the letter of acceptance? Everything is here. Then the instructions to bidders, general items, what are your qualifications, everything. Then eligibility criteria and qualification requirements of the bidder. See, so much details. Then qualification requirements, degree, what qualifications you want. Then technical capacity, that was financial. Now technical capacity, how many projects of this large scale, because it is a 500 CR project, how many such projects that you have already done. Financial capacity of your own firm, everything is mentioned here. Then proprietary data, cost of bidding, verification and disqualification. See, this is a 100-page document. You have to read everything of it. What things will be considered as fraud and corrupt practices? Pre-bid, when will be the pre-bid conference? Miscellaneous, various miscellaneous items. letter for comprising technical bid, everything. You have to print all these and read all this, and you have to sign wherever they require, then your bid will be submitted. Now these were the two things, notice inviting and RFP. Then is various schedules. Schedule A is site of the project. How is the site? What is the soil investigation report? How to reach the site? Whom to contact when you reach the site? Site is 8 laning. It is expanded from where to where. Everything is clearly, what are the level crossings, everything is clearly mentioned, all the details. See, there is the plan of the site view, details right of way, where you can find where. See, now coordinates of center line and right of way, even the coordinates, survey coordinates are changed also is mentioned, so that you can easily calculate the quantities of quantum of the work if you want. Everything in detail, all the technical parts are there in this schedule A. Then schedule B, development of the project highway. Then how, what will be the timeline, how this will be developed, what will be the, again, what will be the RHS and LHS, all the survey details, everything. Length, all the quantities are mentioned. Type of each length is mentioned. Typical cross section, 8 lane, 4 lane, everything is in detail. Then facilities, what else you have to prepare? You have to build a toll plaza, you have to build a roadside furniture, lighting, pedestrian facilities, environmental management plan, landscaping, tree plantation, utilities, rainwater harvesting, whatever XYZ that you have to do, everything is mentioned in this document, project facilities. Then the next document is specification and standards, quality standards of everything, mainly all the quality standards, roadside safety barriers, everything, advanced traffic management system, whatever you have to do is clearly mentioned here. Then this is next schedule is contract price weightages. Now here is the what price weightages, different rates of everything, completely isn't mentioned in schedule H. Then the last one is schedule I, drawings. All the drawings are attached. See this, these are the drawings sections of the, see, from site photographs to complete drawings, detail, consultant name, consultant contact number, everything is there in detail. You can calculate quantities you want to see, everything is mentioned. All the drawings are there. Then finally, an executive summary of all the details that they have mentioned. This is the executive summary. Estimated cost, estimated length, kilometer, miscellaneous cost. This is the final total cost. This is exclusive of GST. When you will include GST, this will go to 1400 CR, that which they had mentioned in the notice inviting tender. Now the last is DCA. This is the draft contract agreement. This you have to read all the clauses of this agreement, because when your tender will be finalized, if your tender and your bid are finalized, then you have to fill this draft contract agreement, sign, and then share to the party. If they will agree and sign, then this contract will be final. It contains all the clauses for payment, for work completion, for defect liability period, for supervision, for change in scope. Everything is clear. Who will have the authority, who is the authorized engineer, financial commitments, everything, all the contract, force majeure and termination, who has the when the contract can be terminated, suspension of contractors' rights, everything, other provisions, all the contract document specifications are here. You have to read all the conditions and then sign the accordingly. But this is a draft contract agreement that they share, so that you are beforehand aware of the terms and conditions. You cannot say once the work has been awarded to you, if that time I will give you the draft contract agreement, you will say, sir, we were not clear about these term payments and these conditions, we do not wish to work under you. So that's why, to avoid such circumstances, this DCA is always attached. And now there is some, this is the final overloading excess circular attached. So these were all the documents. This was the case study that I wanted to share with you guys. Yeah, so this was the 1 hour session on tendering, bidding, and contracts. I would like to thank you everyone for listening so peacefully. If anyone wants to ask a question, they can write in the chat box, or then we will manually unmute them from here, and then they can ask the questions. This was the course contents of the 15 days lecture that we are planning on complete tendering, bidding, and contracts. For the details of that course, you can contact Protrainy. They will get back to you. Anyone want to ask any question on today's session? Then you can post in this chat box.
Sir,
Yes.
Sir, I can ask some question. Mahesh Dalwani.
Yes.
Can I ask?
Yes, you can ask, but your voice is quite unclear. Your voice is fluctuating.
Sir, there is a network issue, sir. I am in Mumbai Chembur area, and 2-3 times the network is not coming. The course has been nicely designed. The tenders have been very perfectly designed, and this thing. Only thing is, where this course, I am a retired deputy chief engineer from Mada, and now I am a licensing consultant in the private firm. So, sir, where this course we will like to join? I am like to join. So, what is the procedure for joining the course?
Yeah, see, you can see in this chat box, they have in the chat box they have written the Protrainy. There is a firm Protrainy which you have joined this lecture. They have written a message that it is a 15-day course. The dates also have been mentioned. The fee also have been mentioned, and there is a link on which the link you can register and easily. Then you can contact them in detail. They'll tell you everything about that.
But sir, lecture was very nice. Lecture was very nice. I am fully satisfied, and a nice preparation of the tender documents and nice explanation also giving, and bids also properly planned. Thank you, sir. God bless. Stay blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, Jacob, there is a question from Yash Goel.
Okay, sure, sir.
Yeah, I'll go through it. Rate analysis and estimation will be done in brief or just in short. Case studies will be solved during the courses. See, I'll not solve the case studies. I will show you various case studies. See, solving a case studies is not possible in tendering. We cannot do live tendering. Right now, I'm not an eligible contractor to fill the tenders, but I will show you various case studies of infra projects, of real estate projects. I'll guide you step-by-step procedure. I cannot solve the case studies. And if you're talking about the case studies of estimation and rate analysis, I will go through rate analysis and estimation only in brief, because this lecture is 15 days and I have to complete contracts as well as tendering and bidding in those 15 days. If you want a detailed session on rate analysis and estimation, that also we at Protrainy are taking. For that, you can contact them, the Protrainy team. They will guide you how to go through the course, a detailed course. But yes, I will at least take 1 lecture or 2 lectures on rate analysis and estimation. I will try my best to complete as much as rate analysis that we can. But I'll only do a brief of that. But that will not be very short, but at least you will be able to do the rate analysis of major RCC items. That includes concrete, shuttering, plastering, major RCC and finishing items. I will try to complete my best in 1 and 1.5 lectures. That is 1.5 hour or 1 hour minimum I will complete on rate analysis and estimation. If you want more than that, then you can contact Protrainy and we can arrange a 1-week session or something like that on estimation and rate analysis separately. Is bid security has to be paid after allotting the contract, or it should be paid with ERM? See, in case of NHAI and in case of government projects, they ask for earnest money deposit first, and when you are shortlisted for the final award, that time you have to pay the security deposit, because it is generally 10% of the contract value. So if 500 people or 50 people or even 15 people are filling for my tender, it will not be possible. It will not be a good practice if I take a security deposit from 15 of those people, because it is 10% of the project cost. It is a huge amount. So bid security is taken from that particular person whom you have finalized that you will award the contract to this particular firm. For that firm, bid security is taken. From all the other people, earnest money deposit, which is only 1 to 2%, or at the max, I think so 3% of the complete contract value. That earnest money deposit we take from all the contractors whom we float the tender to. But bid security we has to be paid at the later stage. Anyone else has any other doubts?
Sir, one question, sir, if you permit me to ask.
Yes, your voice is very unclear.
Hello.
Can you repeat?
Sir, issue is there. Sir, with you, chief engineer. He was a chief engineer of my chief engineer, sir, Jacob, sir.
Sorry, I'm unable to completely get what you are trying to say.
Sir, Jacob's chief engineer is with you, sir.
Jacob's chief engineer. I'm not getting what he's trying to say actually.
He was my chief engineer, sir.
Oh, okay.
He was my chief engineer, sir.
Okay. Got it. I thought you are asking a doubt. Okay.
No,
so
doubt, sir. I'm just for information I was asking, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you so much. So we have received another doubt. What is defect liability period? See, defect liability period in case of government or private contract, anything, even if there is a small job like waterproofing. If I want to carry out waterproofing at my terrace, the defect liability period is that particular period for which you have to handle all the maintenance and repair work free of cost. You cannot charge the client again for that. That is called defect a liability period. For example, I am carrying out waterproofing at my terrace. For generally, the defect liability period for waterproofing works is 7 years. So after 4 years, if there is a leakage at my terrace, I can again call that same contractor that boss, this waterproofing is under defect liability period right now. It is under like for example, it is like under guarantee or warranty that you can consider in construction terms. It is called defect liability period. The project which I was working on, Shapurji Palonji Forbes Visinia site Powai Mumbai, I was working there for 3.5 years as the planning head. So in that project, the defect liability period is 7 years for everything. For all the items, plumbing, electrical, everything has a 7-year defect liability period. So Shapurji will have to appoint a maintenance engineer for it separately. That is called defect liability period, when you have to handle all the repairs and maintenance under your cost. Though money will be given to you separately in that defect liability period. If something gets defected after 7 years, then it's client's responsibility to repair. Client may ask you to repair, then client will have to pay a sum of money to you. Client may ask someone else to repair. But under defect liability period, you will have to do the repairs free of cost. Are NHI contracts item rate or percentage contracts? 99% of NHI contracts are item rate contracts. Few of them are 50% of them are item rate contracts. 50% are EPC contracts, engineering, procurement, and construction. And there are very less percentage contracts in government. Percentage contracts up till 5 to 8 years ago were actually unofficially banned in our government. Percentage contracts has been recently started in our government, but in private contracts, fixed price per plus percentage contracts are very common. The two projects that I have worked on 3.5 years were both cost plus percentage contracts. But in government, it is mostly EPC or item rate. Next, sir, I mentioned actually somebody asked you whether if I want to talk technically regarding to this, is it possible to contact you? I'm working with a consultant from right now. Yes, you can take my personal email ID from Protrainy. You can contact me later. No issues regarding that, or I'll drop my email ID here also. No issues. Do we get any certificate after finishing the course? Yes, definitely you will get a certificate. Whether it will be useful, see, it will be useful for you in the long run, because see, if currently if someone is a college student, you have just completed civil engineering, and you will show in a job resume that, sir, I am well versed with the different contract standards. See, to gain this knowledge, with the knowledge which I am giving you guys in 15 days, it took me 6 months to gain this knowledge. I went to Nikmar, I spent 15 lakh rupees. They taught me tendering, bidding, contracting for 6 months. Then I used that knowledge in my company. Everything I'm trying to give you guys in 15 days. So somewhere, yes, definitely it will be useful. for you guys, because you will use that certificate and you will show the people who are taking your interview, and when they will ask you questions, you will easily be able to answer those questions, because you will have the theoretical data and the presentations which I will give you guys. So that after you will, that will actually show in your resume and in your mental knowledge when someone will ask you questions about tendering and contracting. You will not have obviously practical knowledge. For that, you yourself have to work in that particular profile which you have not worked right now, but definitely it will be very, very useful for you guys. What I feel. Now, next doubt is, what is limitation of liability? How can we factor limitation to what are the resources that we will get in this course? See, resources that you will get in this course is the PPT which I shown you right now, all the theoretical data, all the theoretical presentations which I will prepare. There will be 8 to 9 presentations which will have all the data on that is all the data, all the what are the type of contracts, Indian contract law. I will give you books. I will also share the FIDIC red book, FIDIC silver book, CPWD clauses. I'll share with you all the data that I have from NICMAR, that I have gathered from NICMAR, which is so much in detail that it will take you 5 to 6 months to read. I will share that also, and I will share my own presentations also, which I will be showing in these lectures. All my presentations plus all the NICMAR data that I have and all the case studies that I have downloaded from the internet, everything you will get. Sir, any construction or project management courses? I have not started with the construction and project management courses, but I am very well interested to take that cases. We'll definitely arrange a free seminar like this for you on the construction management and project management, and we will Protrainy will get back to you later for that. So any other doubts anyone has?
Sir, today we attended the lecture. We will get certificate today, sir.
That Jacob will tell you. I'm not clear about that whether this webinar will give you a certificate or not.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Hello everyone. So for the doubt that sir asked, sir, this is just a demo session, so we can't like provide you the certificate for the same. But yeah, we
Okay.
have we have a longer course for the same. So yeah, so I just want to highlight everything. So actually, Protrainy is an NSRCL IIM B pre-incubated recognized educational edutech company. So actually, we are organizing a 15-day advanced online teaching program for tendering, contract, and bidding, as mentioned by our Anshit Gupta sir. So the program will start from 26th of April and it will go on to 11th of May. So it will be like a 15-day program. So there's a registration link mentioned in the chat box. So I can share once more if the ones. So yeah, so this is the registration link for the same. And I have also shared a link where you can get a full course details about the same. And we also have a WhatsApp group. So if you have any queries regarding anything, you can just join the group and you can ask the same, and we will be providing everything to you. And we will be like, after the session, we will be like giving a recorded class also. So recorded sessions will be provided to you. So yeah, so try to maximum register as soon as possible, as we'll be having a limited number of seats. So the number of seats are less, so please try to register as soon as possible. And I have seen one doubt regarding that construction or project management courses. Yes, Protrainy provides construction and project management courses. You can contact me regarding that same. So I am sharing my number. Yeah, this is my contact number, so you can contact me anytime. I will guide you through it. So that's from my part, my side. Thank you all for joining, and thank you, Anshit sir, for providing this wonderful session. So if the doubts are all cleared, I think we can. Yes, sir. Mahesh sir.
Mahesh Dalwani, I am.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
What is the fees for 15 days course?
Sir, it is around 1999. So this will be including GST, sir. Already mentioned in the chat box, sir. You can check this out, sir. To around 2,000 rupees, sir. 1999.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So any queries, you can just join the WhatsApp group, and we will be happy to help you out from there. So, and yeah, and if any doubts, you can also contact me. I have mentioned my contact number on the chat box. So yeah, that's from my side. So,
Yeah,
Sir,
so
how to
any,
join your WhatsApp group?
so the link is already provided in
Can
the
you
same,
please tell
sir.
me what is the
Okay.
timings of your classes?
Okay. Okay.
So the timings for the same will be discussed. You can just register and be participated in the WhatsApp group. So we'll be informing everything around in that, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
So there's a last doubt that what is limitation of liability. I like to clear that a limitation of liability actually sees that is an obligation by one party to another. A limit of liability clause stipulates that a party will be obliged to pay to the other in such an event under the terms of an agreement. For example, it limits the amount of damages that I can recover from another party. That is called a limit of liability clause, and I will have to check whether this clause is applicable in government contracts. I'm not sure about the limit of liability clause right now, but I'll explain you what this means. See, for example, I am a contractor and I am damaging the quality of the project which I am executing. So there is a particular limit that the damages you can recover from me or the amount you can recover from me. This clause is known as limit of liability clause or provision. And how can we factor the same in this in the tendering? That I will have to. Sir, please mention the timing of class also before joining. Yes, we'll mention everything will be told to you beforehand, and we'll try to get the timelines as per your everyone's availability. So timing is not an issue. So I would like to thank you everyone for listening so peacefully for this 1 hour session. Thank you very much, and I hope you and your family stay safe in this situation. Please stop avoiding going outside in this COVID right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.